Welcome, students. Today we'll begin the story of the lost child from your supplementary book, Moments. The entire story goes that the child visits a fair with his parents. He's very happy, excited, watching all the things like sweets, toys, and everything there in the fair. But his parents don't buy anything for him. Later on, the child gets lost in the fair. What happens later on, we'll do in the chapter. This story is written by an Indian writer called Mulk Raj Anand. We'll begin with the story. It was the festival of spring. From the wintry shades of narrow lanes and alley emerged a gale, means very merrily clad, means covered, humanity. Some walked, some rode on horses, others sat, being carried in bamboo and bullock carts. One little boy ran between his father's leg, brimming over. Brimming means very much in joy, on the edge means just near his father's legs, over with life and laughter. Now this entire scene is from a village, a typical Indian village, where the only thing that we could find for entertainment was the fair, which villages do have still. For the child, it was very exciting thing because he was visiting it. So here we begin with the chapter. Come, child, come, called his parents. The parents are calling him. The child is with them. As he lagged behind, the child was very much excited and he was looking around the things. They are still on the way. He is observing all the things. So he is lagging behind, means he is staying behind. So the parents are telling, come, come, walk with us. Fascinated by the toys in the shop that lined the way. Obviously, when children are very much attracted towards toys and the toy shops. So he was just one of the child who was also very much attracted towards the toys. So he was looking and he was lagging behind. He hurried towards his parents, his feet obedient to their call. When the parents told, he ran and he got with the parents. His eyes still lingering on the receding toys. See, he saw the toys and he was moving forward. Still, his eyes were on the toys because he wanted those toys. As he came to where they had stopped to wait for him, he could not suppress the desire of his heart, even though he well knew the old cold stare of refusal in their eyes. So he knew that if he would ask for something, the parents would say no. Refusal means saying no. He knew that the parents would not buy anything for him. So he knew that what the answer could be from the parents. I want that toy, he pleaded. Now he said, I want that toy. His father looked at him red-eyed. What did the father do? He looked at the child with red eye, means with refusal. In his familiar tyrant means very harsh way. Many times even our parents, when we are demanding something or when the parents don't want those things to be given to us, they just look very serious. So we should understand that this thing, we should not ask for the thing next time. So the same thing happened. His father looked at him in that particular way. So the child understood that he is not going to get it. His mother, melted by the free spirit of the day, was tender and giving him his finger to hold, said, But the mothers are always, as usual, kind-hearted. She knew, so she gave him a lovely look, a loving look, and told him and gave the forwarded her finger to hold it so that the child could walk with them. Look, child, what is before you? What did the mother do? She wanted to change the direction of the boy from the toys shop to somewhere else. She wanted to distract him. Look, child, what is before you? It was a flowering mustard field. And what was there on the way? There was a field full of mustard. Mustard is what we always use for cooking vegetables. In Gujarati we call it rai. So the field of mustards are when the fields of mustards are yellow. They have a yellow flower, and the mustard grows on it after they remove it and they dry it later on. So it becomes into mustard. So it looks very beautiful because the entire plant is green and the flowers are yellowish. So the mother wanted to change the direction of the boy and said, see those yellow mustard fields, pale like melting gold, as it swept across miles and miles for even land. And it was a large field, so it was looking yellow as if the gold had melted. A group of dragonflies were bustling about on their gaudy purple wings, means merrily and showing. It means the dragonflies were flying all over the field. It was a beautiful picture. Intercepting the flight of a lone black bee or butterfly in search of sweetness from the flowers. So there were even butterflies and bees also. They were just buzzing around on those flowers. The child followed them in the air with his gaze till one of them would still its wing and rest. So the boy was enjoying this. He was running behind, as even lots of children do during their childhood. They run behind those dragonflies, try to catch them, catch the butterflies. So this was also, this child was also the same, and he was also trying to get hold of one of the butterflies if it sat somewhere for a rest, and he would try to catch it, but it would go fluttering, means flying, flapping up into the air when he had almost caught it in his hands. And as the child used to get near to those butterflies, it would fly away. He couldn't catch it. Then his mother gave a cautionary call. Come, child, come to the footpath. Means he was moving away from the footpath. There's a means footpath. Actually, it was not a road but a small way, a path. Because in villages, these are the common things. So he was moving away, and the mother told, come on the footpath. He ran towards his parent gaily, and again he ran towards his parents and walked abreast of them for a while, being however soon left behind, attracted by the little insects and worms along the footpath that were teeming means pouring out, coming out, teeming out from their hiding places to enjoy the sunshine. And what else was happening? Small insects, worms, they were also out. So the boy was looking at them, because children are very curious at observing things. So he was also just a child who was very curious. So he was looking at the butterflies, dragonflies, small insects that were coming around on the path, on the road. They were moving around. So he was curious and looking at those small insects. The come, child, come, his parents called for the shade of a grove. Grove means a small forest. They were on the way. So now there was a shade. It was a bit of forest. So the parents called, come, child, come in shade, because outside it was sunlight. Where they had seated themselves on the edge of a well, he ran towards them. So the child was again lagging behind, and the parents called, come, come. So he again ran and joined his parents. They were sitting there for a few minutes taking rest. A shower of young flowers fell upon the child as he entered the grove, and those there were showers of flower as he entered the forest. Everywhere it was green and very beautiful. And forgetting his parents, he began to gather the raining petals in his hands. Now there were few plants and trees, and the leaves and of the petals, the flowers petals were falling down. So he was very happy to see those flowers falling, and he was trying to catch those petals of the flowers in his hand. He was running here and there. But lo, he heard the cooing of dove. And then later on, what happened? There were doves sitting on the tree, on the branch of a tree. So the child saw those doves. Now again he gets distracted by those doves. The raining petals dropped from his forgotten hands, and as he saw those doves, those petals that he had collected falling from the flowers of a tree, he forgot those petals fell down, because now he was attracted towards those two doves that were sitting on the branch of a tree. Come, child, come, they called to the child, who had now gone running with wild shepherds. Means now he was jumping here and there. Shepherds means to jump. Now the parents were again, he was lagging behind, so again the parents were calling him, come on, round the banyan tree. Now he is going round and round the banyan tree in circle, and gathering him up, they took the narrow winding footpath which led to the fair through the mustard field. So now they were moving ahead. The path was going to the fair. As they neared the village, means as they were getting close to the village on the way, on the path, the child could see many other footpaths full of throngs. Throngs means groups of lots of people, means lots of other people were also visiting there. They were also going to the fair. So footpath full of throngs means the way was full of people, lots of people were going. Converging means approaching to the whirlpool of fair, means now the fair was approaching, so it was getting more and more crowdy, and felt at once repelled means to get attracted, and fascinated by the confusion of the world he was entering. As we know that we also have visited many times the fairs, it is very much crowded. The entire thing looks very much confusing there, because there's a lot of hustle and bustle, people are moving around in all directions, and so for the child also this was something very, very new, not everyday scene in his life. So he is getting confused by looking at so many people. A sweetmeat seller, hawker. Now what did he see? He saw a sweet shop. Now a hawker, gulab jamun, rasgulla, barfi, jalebi, these were the things that he was selling. And the child, first of all, when he entered, he saw that shop selling those sweets at the corner of the entrance, and a crowd pressed around his counter at the foot of an architecture of many colored sweets. So when the child saw that those sweets were decorated in his shops, all different colored sweets, and lots of people were buying sweets, few of them were eating sweets, and the child saw this decorated with leaves of silver and gold. The sweets were decorated very well. The child stared open-eyed, and his mouth watered for the barfi that was his favorite sweet. Now when the child saw barfi, that is a sweet made out of milk, white color, and that was his favorite one. So when the child saw that sweet, his mouth started watering, because he wanted to eat that sweet. The child stared open eyes, and his mouth watered for the barfi that was his favorite sweet. I want that barfi, he slowly murmured. Means, slowly the poor child said, I want to eat that barfi. But he did not speak it loudly, because he knew that the parents will get angry. So he just wanted to try it if they could buy something for him. So slowly he said, but he half knew as he begged that his plea, means his appeal, his prayer, plea means, would not be heeded. Heeded means noticed, not be heard. He knew that he is asking for something, for some sweets, but nobody will respond to his appeal. Nobody will buy him those sweets because his parents would say he was greedy. See, he knew the answer that if he will say that he wants to buy those sweets, the parents would say, you are very greedy, you want everything. So he knew that the parents are not going to buy. So without waiting for an answer, he moved on. He knew that he will not get any answer from the parents. So the child quietly started moving with the parents. A flower seller hawker. Now what he saw, the next shop was the flower seller. He was selling flowers. A garland of gulmohar, a garland of gulmohar. The child seemed irresistibly drawn. Now when he saw those flower garlands, garland means in Gujarati we call mala. So that garland when he saw, he was very much attracted. He wanted to have one of the garlands because it looked very beautiful. He wanted to wear that garland. So he was totally attracted towards that shop. He went towards the basket where the flowers lay, heaped and half murmured again, I want that garland. Again the poor child is saying, I want that garland. As he loved those flowers, that's why. But he knew well his parents would refuse to buy him those flowers because they would say that they were cheap. So now he knew that what if I will ask my parents again, then they will say no, and they will say that you will wear a garland. It looks very cheap, and it is very cheap. Why do you want to buy a garland and wear it? It's not good for you. So without waiting for an answer, he moved on. So he moved again forward, leaving that shop behind. A man stood holding a pole with yellow, red, green and purple balloons flying from it. Now what he saw, there was a man who was selling different kinds of colored balloons, and children usually love balloons very much. So when he saw that the man was selling balloon, again now his attention is drawn towards those balloons because they were all colored, bright colored, shining. The child was simply carried away by the rainbow glory of their silken color. So many different colors, and the balloons looked very beautiful. So now the child was continuously looking at those balloons, and he was filled with an overwhelming means very, very great, too much. Overwhelming means which is not controllable, very much he wanted, desire to possess them all. And what did he think? Oh, if I could get all these balloons, how happy I would be. He wanted all those balloons. Now he couldn't control himself because when he saw the balloons, he just was desperate to get those balloons. But he well knew his parents would never buy him the balloons because they would say he was too old to play with such toys. And now what he thought, oh, the parents are not going to buy these balloons also. If I tell them, they will tell you are grown up child now. You should not play with balloons. Small children do play with balloons. Why do you want balloons? He knew that this would be the answer. So he did not ask for the balloon. So he walked on further. So he carried on, started moving ahead. Now he saw a snake charmer, stood playing a flute to a snake which coiled itself in a basket. Now what he saw? He saw a snake charmer, and he was having a snake in the basket, and he was playing the music, the flute. Its head raised in gracefully bent like the neck of a swan, and just like a swan, the neck is bent. The same way the snake's neck was bent, and people were watching that snake charmer while the music stole into the invisible ears like the gentle rippling. Gentle rippling means moving without any direction. So now he saw that snake charmer, that music, beautiful music he was playing. Gentle rippling of the invisible waterfall. The child went towards the snake charmer. Now the child got attracted towards the snake, and he went near the snake charmer. But knowing his parents had forbidden him to hear such coarse means very rough, sharp music, as the snake charmer played He proceeded further. So that parents said no. Parents said already, he knew that the parents would say no, because the music is very sharp, shrill, coarse music is there of the flute. Actually, it's not a flute but the pungi that we have done in the previous lesson also. They play pungi in front of the snake. So he knew that the sound was very sharp and the parents will say no. So he kept on moving forward. There was a, now he was getting sad because he wanted lots of things, but he didn't have that uh, permission to buy all those things. He couldn't ask because he knew that the parents are going to say no. So now he kept on moving. Now, as he moved forward, he saw a roundabout in full swing, a huge roundabout. That is just even we call, many of them call it merry-go-round. The roundabout he saw, men, women, and children carried away in whirling motion. Now people were sitting on that roundabout. It was moving round and round. Everybody was shouting, enjoying. The child was now attracted toward that huge roundabout, shrieking and cried with dizzy laughter. Many of them were shouting, many of them were laughing. The child was watching this roundabout. The child watched that intensely and then he made a bold request. Now he wanted to go in that roundabout. So he made a request again, but this time it was a bold request. I want to go on the roundabout. Please, father, mother. Now he gathered strength and said that now I want to go in that roundabout. Please let me enjoy this. There was no reply, but the parents did not reply. They did not say anything. He turned to look at his parents. They were not there ahead of him. He turned to look on either side. Now what happened? As the child said, he gathered lots of strength and now he made a decision that now I need to tell my parents that I want to go in this. Up till now he was hiding, he was just speaking slowly, murmuring, and few of the things he even didn't demand because he knew that the parents are going to give me this excuse and that excuse and they will say no. But he wanted to go in this round. Now he gathered his strength and told to parents that please I want to go in the roundabout. He turned. There was no reply, but nobody replied. He turned to look at his parents. They were not there ahead of him. Now what happened? As he turned around, he saw that the parents were not with him. So now the child was lost in a fair, in a very crowded fair. We'll continue with the chapter in the next lecture. Right now I am sending, that's why we'll just move on to the next lecture.